South Africa is preparing to host the Davis Cup Africa Group 3 tournament next month, and a 4-member team has been selected for the competition and will do battle against 7 other African nations in Tuks in Pretoria. Christo van Rensburg will captain the team as the South Africans bid to reclaim their spot in the World Group and solidify their position as the leading African nation in the Davis Cup. Newzroom Africa sport reporter Vuyo Macoba caught up with the captain.
Christo, appreciate your time for joining us on Newzroom Africa today. It's the Davis Cup that's coming up. It's slowly approaching. But for starters, before we get into the team setup, looking at the fact that South Africa is playing host to the tournament, how important is that for the sport of tennis in the country?
I think very important. When I took this job to become the captain was 2 years ago. And we have not had a home tie to play in South Africa. So very exciting to come home. I haven't been there for a while, want to come and see friends and everyone. But to have any national player representing your country to play at home is one of the biggest awards you can get as a sports person.
There's a 4-member team that has been put out for Davis Cup for South Africa. I want us to talk about the makeup of this team, and maybe we can even just delve into the individual players and in terms of their characters. Gavin Bedenhorst, I know he's the only member who was part of the squad. I remember in Luxembourg, and he had just made his debut there. What's most exciting about this young talent?
I got to see Devin Bedenhorst in 2015 in an academy at John Loughney, and I remember the guy was so talented. He was a cricket player, tennis wanted him. He was just that all-round guy, and good for John Loughney to take him under his wings. Got to see him now play. He's big, he moves fast, he's got a huge serve, and he's got really good ground shots.
Talking about also young players and young talent and what this opportunity gives them, 20-year-old Dylan Selton and also 16-year-old prospect in Leo Mathieson, nation's top-ranked junior, making up this team. A resounding opportunity for the growth of these young South African rising stars, yes?
The sky is the limit when you get an opportunity. So how great to be for a youngster that's already been very good, because Leo Mathieson is in the Tunisia. They have an African academy where they take the best. And I think he's going to be a great ambassador for us moving up. And then Dylan Sultan has been in my team in Israel.
Yeah.
He didn't get to play, but I call him my Nadal in my team. He was out there, he's left-handed, he's grinding. Every time I ask him to hit with one of the players in the team, he was just out there, and he was soaked every day. What a great experience going to be for him to actually now going to play and represent South Africa at home.
One thing that I'm seeing with this team is that the makeup of it, you've got these juniors that are coming in to get the experience, but also you've got a Philip Henning, who has the experience. He's played a couple of Davis Cup ties for South Africa, and that's what you need in a team. Also, that experienced individual that the younger ones are going to be able to feed off.
You cannot ever leave this guy out. He had one bad match against Bulgaria. Unfortunately, it was on clay and not as prepared as he should have been. But looking at his results, he's played in my tournaments that I run in Austin twice, so I get to know him. Easy to coach him.
Christo, 7 nations will make their way to our shores for the competition. Benin, Algeria, Namibia, Senegal, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Zimbabwe. Where is our biggest challenge here?
The biggest challenge is going to probably come from, I would say, Zimbabwe. They have the Lock brothers, I mean, the one guy is 330 in the world. The Ivory Coast has a guy in the top 400. Senegal has a guy that is starting to move up. So there is going to be tough competition.
We cannot stress just the magnitude of how important this tournament is in providing an opportunity, of course, to advance to World Group 2 playoffs. This is something that is already serves as motivation on its own. South Africa trying to reclaim their spot in the World Group.
At the end of the day, South Africa is a place that thrives on sport. Any sport you look at, you look at the cricket, you look at the rugby, that's where you want to achieve. Tennis was like that in the 80s. I mean, I think we counted, we were 8 or 9 people one year in the second round of Wimbledon. So we've been there. Now it's starting, and to see the talent like a Devin Bardnoff's coming up and Leo Matthijssen that's already been called up to the highest level in Africa you can go to at his age, very excited.
And just in closing, Christo, in South Africa, celebrating Mandela Day, one person as well that was very close to sport and spoke largely about the power of sports and what it can do to a nation, to a community, to an individual. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this day as well, on the great man that is in Nelson Mandela.
It was an honor in 1996. I was picked. This was the first time that we actually played where in South Africa. It was on grass, and I was in the team. Donnie Visser was the captain, and we got to meet the former and late President Mandela. And we got a picture, and it's something that I treasure, where we were all standing there. He flew in on his helicopter, spent time with us for about 20 minutes, and we all got to shake his hand and listen. And it was a motivational speech. That's when you know why this person is such a success story.
Christo, appreciate your time for joining us on Newzroom Africa. Wishing you best